Hello and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to tackle something which has been requested quite a lot, and it's something I've mentioned in another video, saying I want to get rid of these mattresses which I use to make the bed, because they're huge. I mean, just look at the size of these things. I mean, I carry two of these just for the bed down here, and I just all that room could be used for for clothes and other kinds of things back there, and then we can clear the van a bit more when we're traveling. And plus I want to make the bed as flat as possible. I'm going to be doing the bed conversion. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, this, because I have no idea if this is going to work out, so I'm actually a bit scared of doing it, because this is one of the first things I've done where I'm actually might be wrecking the van a little bit. So I'm hopefully going to do it so I can not damage all the foam that's in here. I'm not going to use the foam that's in the seats, and then hopefully I can build a new bed kind of on top of it, and we'll have to see how it goes. But this really is going to be a trial and error on this one. But I think the best thing to do is to actually get the foam off the chairs, and let's see what the platform's like, and just see if I can make a nice level bed. I think first thing to do is to get taking the seat to pieces and see what I'm working with. Right, so let's do that. So I originally thought that I could take the covers off inside the van and have a look at it all while it's in place, but it's not to be. I'd forgotten that you have to take all the bolts out unless you want to cut the actual material of the seat cover, which I didn't want to do. So yeah, you just got to undo the bolts. If you've never taken out a seat before, it's literally just 4 really big bolts, and then you just lift the seat out. So now the van is looking really empty now. God, if it was only this big normally, that'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? So I've got to get rid of all the rest of those clips, and then it's a case of literally taking all the bolts off it. There's quite a lot of things to remove. I could have just cut the cover, but I want to kind of retain the cover just in case things go horribly wrong and I have to put it all back together again. So it's just a case of taking the little screws out the side there and losing most of them into the stones. So after just undoing lots of bolts, I lose a bit of footage there, unfortunately. So the foam is now gone. So I've taken that off, and you can start to see the structure of the bench now. Now I've just got to do the same thing with the top now, and it's pretty similar actually. It doesn't just zip off. Again, the cover kind of goes, the bolts go through the cover, so you've got to take all the bolts out, and then you can remove the actual back part. So now you can start to see inside the actual the back of the chair. But one thing you've got to do is actually take both the headrests off, otherwise you can't get the covers off. And again, the top is very similar to the bottom. You have to take this bolt out. There's only really 4 bolts you have to kind of mess about with. And there's a big long bar that kind of goes down the back of that tube at the back. So you've got to slide that out. And then you have to just unbolt the big bolts. So I've just put a couple of boards on here just to give me a rough idea of how this is going to look, and it's already looking pretty promising. The lower board is, yeah, so the seat part is definitely lower than the back part, which is fine. That's like kind of what I was expecting. I knew I was going to have to raise that up, but it's looking quite promising. I think the frame is looking good for this. So what I'm going to do now is actually put the whole thing, the seat back in the van, and voila, there it is. Again, just to see what it's going to look like. I just need to start to gauge those levels a bit better. Oh my god, it's nearly exact. Okay, that is nearly perfect. Look at that, that is so close. I did not expect that at all. Right, I'm just going to get some little bits of wood just to prop it up, see if I can get it level. Okay, so at this point I'm pretty happy that this is all going to work. It's looking really nice and level. So I now move on to the next section, which is going to be the more destructive elements of it. So this is no turning back now. So on this bit I'm going to chop off the headrest supports now, because I've decided I'm just going to go for it now, and because these were sticking up too far. It does mean that I do have to chop that back box down a bit, because it does lower the back. So even though it was level there in that last shot, it does go down after I do this, so there was a bit of extra work which I don't show in the video. So this will just allow the back plate to actually lay completely flat, which is cool. So to actually attach these the bed boards to the frame, I'm using a riv nutter. So this embeds a little nut into the frame. And this is a new tool for me, and I am genuinely quite impressed with this thing. It's absolutely brilliant. I can see a ton of uses for van conversions. So it's actually, I put the back plate on now, so that's looking pretty good. So to do the bottom part, because it is actually lower than that back, the backboard, I've got these old roof bars which I've just stripped the plastic off, and I'm going to recycle these, and these are going to just raise up that bottom platform enough to be level. So after welding the box sections in, I put riv nuts all along the those box sections, as you can see there. So the bottom platform does rest nicely on those, so it makes it really nice and secure, and it's all looking pretty level now. One thing I do actually is there's this like weird grate thing which is in the back seat, so I get rid of that. Who needs that? So everything is screwed down and it's looking nice and level, so I'm happy with that. So one more thing I do have to do is I drill out the holes for the seat belts to come through, because this is all still, the original seat is underneath, so I still want seat belt mounting points. And it's time to put it in the van. And as you can see, it's looking pretty level. Underneath there is foam that I've got. I used an old mattress that I had, so I cut that up. It's not the best, so it's kind of a bit of a temporary thing, the foam, but it's making it look pretty good actually. And it's now in seat mode, so I can just sort of see how it's looking with that. I put the old drawer in there, and then I have a bit of a thought at this point. I have an idea, and I think, oh, what if I put a surround on this? And that'd be pretty cool, because then I'll bring the drawer forward. And then I thought, well, hang on, I can make a bigger drawer, because it's got further to go now. So I make this surround, you know, a permanent thing. Oh, another thing I do, because now I'm not going to be able to access the lever underneath, is cut this little slot, and I've got like a pull cord for moving the seat, which is really quite satisfying, to be honest with you. So that works really nicely. So one thing I've got to do, this is something I've never done before, which is stretch carpet or felting. I'm not really sure what this is, but it's 4-way stretch carpet, and you glue it onto the wood. And yeah, I have never done this before in my life, so wow, this is a learning curve. So I don't get this perfect, but you know, it's actually not a bad job. The next thing I do is actually go off and buy some more wood, because then I need to make the drawer. I don't show you the entire drawer making process, so bada bing, here we go, it's the drawer. I put some nice black vinyl on the bottom because I cocked up the white and didn't have any left, but I think the black actually sets it off quite nicely. And look at the size of the drawer, it's huge. So very happy with that. It's got a plain front because there's going to be another piece to go on the front there. But so I carry on the stretch carpeting. I go inside, nice stretch carpet for all I'm worth. So that's the back seat frame all wrapped, and it's worth doing this because you don't want to expose metal because there are little bits on there. But on the back I need a solid board on there because I've got an idea to put a netting on there so I can hold coats and things on there. So I create a little board, and again I stretch carpet that. Why not? So I have pre-drilled some holes in this backboard because I have riv nutted some riv nuts into the back there, which I'm about to expose because I love that thing. I love the riv nutter. So I'm just using it for everything. So I'm just exposing the riv nuts there so I can just bolt the backboard on. So there they are. So here's the backboard going on. I've got some nice decorative washers for that as well to make it a little bit smarter. So here's the bedboards now on, and I think it's now coming together quite nicely. We're getting towards the end. So here's that plate on the back, and like I say, I'm going to put a net on there, so it's going to be perfect for putting coats in and things like that. Very handy. So I've got to turn my attention now to the drawer, and I've not shown you a big part of the drawer, but this is just the front of the drawer, and yet again, my old friend, the stretch carpet, comes into play. So I just need to put the front back on the drawer. So one of the cool things I did with this drawer is I made it run on sliders. It's not on wheels anymore, as you can see the sliders on the side. I totally forgot to film that whole slider part of the build, and it was painful, but I've got it there in the end, and it's really smooth action. So I'm going to fill the drawer up back with the exact same contents that I took out of the drawer at the beginning, and yeah, it's quite surprising how much space I've got left. So it's all fitting in really nice. There's still space left on the right hand side, but there's tons of space left on the left. So I think this is an absolute result for that drawer. So I'm very happy with it. Well, looks like I did it, and God, that was a bit of a task. It's taken me a few weeks to do it because I've had to do it in between work and a lot of other things, so I've not had as much time to do this build. But finally, I've managed to do it, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think that's gone pretty well. I've now got a flat bed. I've actually tested it out a few times now, so just to see what it was like, and yeah, it's gone really well. The only thing that's not done really is the foam. So I had a spare single bed which I literally sliced lengthways in half, and it's not perfect, so it is a bit wibbly wobbly on the old the foam, and I think I could do with high density foam, whereas this is pretty soft really. So I need a high density one just to make the seating bit a bit better so it doesn't sink too low onto the wood. But apart from that, it's actually when you're in bed mode, it's super comfortable. It's just like sleeping on a mattress, so that has worked an absolute treat. So I've got to do the upholstery really, but I've got this Sherpa blanket which has been pretty good actually. It's kind of irons out all any kind of little bumps and anything like that. So but the thing is, you can do it. It is possible. You can make a bed platform from a Mazda Bongo rear seat. So that to me is an absolute result. There's quite a few steps to do it. I'm not showing you absolutely everything because there's just so much that I had to do. But I think one of the big wins as well is the drawer, because it is massive now. I mean, it's just, I went for just the biggest drawer I could fit in there, and it is huge. It's probably, I think it's probably about 60–70% bigger than the original drawer. It's so big. I think with using drawer sliders, that has worked a treat. It was a bit tricky getting them right, but the main thing is new upholstery and new foam for the base, and then it'll be absolutely perfect. Yeah, overall though, then I'm really happy with this. I think it's been well worth it just to get that flat bed, and like I say, just give me more storage. I've just got way more storage again, so I'm super happy about that. And yeah, I think that'll do for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.